So what do we mean exactly when we talk about trauma?
So I think if we break it down into two specific categories, there's relational trauma and there's shock trauma. When most people think of trauma, they think of shock trauma, such as a car accident, a severe abuse case, something that is threatening to someone's life or someone's body. But we also have relational trauma. We have developmental trauma. Relational trauma affects how we show up in our relationships. It can be repeated messages from individuals that we're close to, important people in our lives. We also have epigenetics and intergenerational trauma. We have developmental trauma that affects the lifespan. And we also have what are called adverse childhood experiences, or ACEs. And those are just a few of the different types of trauma.
I want to talk now about what treatment entails. Why is it important to treat trauma as part of a multidisciplinary approach to substance use disorder?
So absolutely, that's a great question. And I think it's a great point to look at the multidisciplinary approach. So we want to look at, are we neurobiologically, biologically, spiritually, socially, and psychologically treating the individual who has experienced trauma? We also want to look at, are we assessing someone appropriately for the proper level of care? So does someone maybe need outpatient individual therapy, or are they more of a candidate for inpatient residential treatment? We also want to look at what the appropriate modalities are. So at Caron, for example, we utilize NARM, EMDR, cognitive behavioral therapy, psychodrama, dialectical behavioral therapy, narrative therapy, trauma-focused CBT, and EFT.
Does trauma also interact with other co-occurring disorders like gambling or love addiction?
Absolutely. So more often than not, trauma is one of the underlying factors for all addictive disorders. And for example, someone with a sex and love addiction could have experienced some sort of sexual abuse at a young age, and they're trying to resolve that trauma, that abuse, by exerting power and control, which is manifesting in a sex and love addiction.